Welcome to the Appleton Area School District Candidate Forum interview format with our 2020 school board candidates. And thank you, Mike Schinke, for joining us today. We'll start with an opportunity for you to respond to. Please introduce yourself, explain your connection to the Appleton Area School District, and why you are running for school board.
Absolutely. Well, I was born and raised in Appleton. I actually attended Franklin, Roosevelt, which is now Kaleidoscope, and Appleton West High School. The only time I didn't live in Appleton was 7 years I spent in Cleveland, Ohio. I now have students in the district, or I have two daughters in the district. And really the reason I decided to run is I really didn't follow the school board all that much. And I think a lot of people didn't, and that's my fault. But over the last few years, I feel like myself and other parents sometimes are just not having our voices heard regarding some of the things that we're going through as far as our families and with the education of our children. So I really wanted to be that voice of the parents and the families, the students, and the teachers for the district. And so that's why I decided to run. Thank you.
So our first question comes from Jonathan, who is an 11th grader at Appleton Central High School.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Dahl. I'm an 11th grader at Appleton Central, and my question for you is, as an AASD school board member, what can you do to ensure that students feel wanted, welcomed, and comfortable at school when they come here to learn?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. We do need to reach out to our students and find out what they need, not just assume what they need. And when you talk about Central, I think high school, I think with them, that location in particular, we really need to maybe have a special advisory board to communicate with them to help them in any way we can. But I just go back to, if anyone doesn't feel welcome or safe or whatever the case might be in the district, why is that? And we need to ask those questions. Thank you. Great question.
Our next question comes from Nimrit, who is a senior and editor-in-chief for the Appleton North High School Student newspaper.
Hi, my name is Nimrit Sodi, and I'm a senior at Appleton North. School overcrowding has become a more pressing issue in recent years, as we've seen classrooms overflow and closets transformed into teaching spaces. However, there has been some significant backlash towards the coming referendum. What are your thoughts on the district referendum? And for those who disagree, why are you swayed towards this perspective?
Yeah, I agree. I know that there's been talks now of moving the 6th grade into middle school. I think that's a great first step. As far as the referendum, I'm sympathetic to people that don't support referendums. I've never really quite been able to understand why someone wouldn't support a referendum. I think I understand that it's, people are concerned, they hear taxes, increased taxes. I think you get that value back in your community when you pass these referendums that, either are building new schools or adding on and improving some of our older schools. I mean, Appleton has a lot of older schools that were kind of built around that same time, and they need that upgrading. So I think some of the moves that are going forward with the referendum are the right decisions, and I fully back them. Thank you. Great question.
Next question comes from Kirsten, who's a senior at Appleton East High School and the editor of the student newspaper.
A lot of change has happened within the last few years. School districts must adapt faster than ever. What is your main goal for your first year on the school board?
I think my main goal it would be to kind of minimize some of the divisiveness within the district. We have, parents, butting heads. We have teachers and parents, not getting along like they should and could. I think if we come together, put some policies together by listening to parents, teachers, and students, that maybe we can decrease some of that divisiveness and come to decisions that we can all kind of live with. So I think that would be one of my number one goals.
Thank you. Many experts believe that effective teachers have the highest influence on student achievement. What approach do you propose for the Appleton Area School District to attract and retain qualified, effective teachers?
Yeah, I think that number one is just obviously compensation is always a factor, and that's with anyone in any job. But I think we should start looking at teachers that come to our district from another district. Ask them, what did you like about the district you just left? What did you not like about the district you just left? Same for teachers leaving our district. Let's do exit interviews. What did you not like about Appleton Area School District? What did you like? What are we doing right? So let's find out what we're maybe missing, and then what we're doing right, so we don't stop doing things that we're doing right. And I think that goes for retiring teachers as well. Let's find out, what we're doing. People will, stay at a position or take a position if we're treating them well and doing all the right things. And I think we can do that. Thank you.
What are the leadership responsibilities of the school board members in collaboration and building consensus with administration, parents, teachers, and the community?
Well, when it comes to leadership, I think it starts with listening to the three you just listed. Well, four, I guess: administration, parents, teachers, and community. We need to listen to everyone. Like I said earlier, a lot of people feel like their voices are not being heard. I don't represent any particular group. I represent the families of Appleton Area School District. So I think, leadership starts there, listening. Then again, like I said earlier, making decisions and sometimes hard decisions, but decisions based on what the community has said, and then working with the other board members and administration to come to decisions that works for everyone. Thank you.
What safety precautions do you support to keep all students and staff healthy and safe, and what do you not support?
I assume we're talking about some of the mitigation. I'm not sure if that's what it's directed at. I support any of the mitigation strategies that we put in place that are proven to work. I maintain that we remain flexible regarding those mitigation efforts, because as we see the CDC and so forth, as we get new data, things are changing. So we can't hard press and say we need to do this forever, because we just don't know. You take quarantines, for example. They were 10 days last year. Now we're down to 5. So I think that's just a good example that we need to remain flexible. Vaccines, when you talk about those, I'm personally vaccinated. I encourage anyone to get vaccinated to prevent severe illness. But the data is still out on some of that. We've seen with Omicron, it didn't do a great job in stopping or preventing people from getting infected. So I think we should remain open on people choosing whether their kids should get vaccinated or not at this point. Yeah, so I guess that's kind of covers it. Thank you.
What are your thoughts on the curriculum development process and assuring that curricula are culturally responsive and inclusive?
Yeah, I would admit, this is a more new thing for me as far as curriculum. I would kind of count on the administration. And here's where I would lean on board members with education backgrounds too. I think it's important to know the things you don't know. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I know exactly how to solve that problem. But again, we need to listen to the teachers, we need to listen to the students, we need to listen to the families, and see how we are approaching that subject. Thank you.
The school board will be hiring a new superintendent of schools. What do you think about the process being used and the community survey results? What would you be looking for in a superintendent?
In a superintendent, looking for just a strong leader, and someone that is willing to listen and respond to the community. Someone that is open to different ideas, doesn't, everyone has their preconceived perception of things, but someone that's willing to be open to those decisions or ideas. I'm fine with the process that they're going through. I do wish they were waiting. I know it's a time thing, but I wish they would wait until after the new elections were complete. We have board members sitting on there that were not necessarily elected. So I would prefer that we had, the newly elected members is a part of the process. Thank you.
And our final question, why should voters choose you for the Appleton Area School Board?
Well, I think number one, I have students in the district. I think there's several candidates and current members that have not, and I think it's important to have as many members as you can on the board that have students. Also, I think one of my strengths is really honestly that I don't have an education background. I think you need educators on the board and people with experience in education, but I think you also need, an outside perspective to kind of represent the families and so forth that don't feel that they are represented. Also, with my experience in negotiating and so forth that I had in my sales career life, I think I bring to the table that ability to hear both sides and come to resolutions that everyone can be happy with. Thank you.
Thank you to Mike Schinke for taking the time to share your responses with the Appleton Area School District voters.
Thank you.